Hello, what's up guys, I'm Kyle from KGR, and today we're going to be taking a look at the NECA Deluxe Crash figure with the Aku mask. Now, we've gotten some deluxe figures in the past with accessories or just overall different designs with him being in a jetpack or scuba gear. I don't call those deluxe in my opinion, but whatever. And we also get some extra faces. Now, this is a figure I've been looking forward to for months, and does it live up to my expectations? It's a little bit of a hit and miss, to be honest. There's some things I love and there's some things I absolutely hate about this figure. So let's get into everything. Let's first start off with not even just a paint job. Let's actually compare it to the first incarnation of the figure. That is the first NECA Crash NECA figure. Now you can see the shading on these two is much different. The paint jobs are much more different. The eyes are smaller, and honestly I like the small eyes on this one because it is more game accurate. But if you turn this around, you get a nice 360 view of each figure. You can really see how much they improved over the past year of making these figures. You can see this one looks more like a burnt gremlin, and this one actually looks more like Crash. The hair isn't that accurate, but in all honesty, I don't even really care at this point. I think it looks half decent. But this Crash, oh my god, it shows its age already. I mean, I still like it, but like comparing it to this one right here, wow. Now, the bigger eyes on this one isn't really accurate to the game. However, it still looks really good. I think it's probably more accurate to maybe the art, but this face in particular, I don't like all that much, but I'll get more into that in a minute. But I think the big eyes do look good on him. I think it looks good either way. But besides the eyes, let's get into more of the paint job. Let's get a closer look at this guy. Now, like I said earlier, they did do a much better job on painting this guy. There's nothing too dark. Everything's blended much better. There's no bleeds onto the butts. This one is really awesome. But unfortunately, you are going to have those quality control mistakes. Like, you got some scuff on the eyes if the camera wants to pick that up all too well. We even got one on the shoe. Now, this is obviously going to vary from figure to figure. Yours is probably not going to be scuffed up like that. Yours might be better. Yours might be worse. It's always different. They did have a few mistakes right here that you can see, and even on the ear as well. But again, it's going to vary, but still much better than the past figures. But I wish the quality control was a little bit better. But when it comes to the articulation, it's the same exact as all the other Crash figures from the NECA line. So if you like them, then good. But if you don't like them, then I'm sorry, there's no real improvements. But if you're not familiar with these, I'll give you a quick rundown. We got articulated eyebrows, which honestly, I didn't think I was going to really need these or want these all that much at all. But honestly, it's amazing. They really do change the expressions that much. I'm pleasantly surprised on how well they did with this. And then when it comes to the shoulders, they go out about that far. They're universal, so they can also go forward and backwards. You get less than a 90-degree bend at the elbow, but then you also get articulation right there as well. The wrist can go forward and back that much, but that's the only direction it can go in, which is a little bit of a bummer. And then you can also twist it as well. So if you want to move it and then spin it, you can do that if you want. We also get articulation on the head, which I still love. I've done my first review on the NECA figure, and we've never gotten head articulation like this on a Crash figure before. So the fact that they managed to pull it off without really breaking the sculpt all that much and making it look awkward is applaud worthy. It's amazing how they did that. And we also get a bit of an ab crunch. He can go forward quite a bit, but going back, he can't really go all that back too much. But if you combine it with the head tilt, it does make a little bit of an arc, but again, it's not too much. Oh yeah, they forgot to paint the belly button. I forgot to mention that. They stopped doing that ever since the first figure. Why they did that is beyond me, but whatever. I can't ask them. Legs, it's a little bit of a hit and miss. They go forward about that much, which doesn't look like much, but if you combine it with the ab crunch, he can look like he's doing a front flip. Going back isn't really much at all because of the way they sculpted the butt. It is loose plastic, but not very loose. It is more aesthetically pleasing to have it sculpted like this, but unfortunately it does hinder the articulation quite a bit. And then the knees only go back so far, but these pegs are so tiny. I do strongly recommend being careful with these guys. They are very tight, so it makes it so he doesn't lose his balance and fall forward. But eventually, over time, if you wear them out too much, they will start falling forward. So get ready for that. My cat leaned against mine so much, it did start to give out. And then when it comes to the ankle rockers down here, they're enough, but they're not great. So if you do pose Crash in different poses, if you want him to make sure his feet are flat, they will be flat, they will be fine, but they do feel awfully tight, so be careful with those as well. But now let's go over the accessories with this figure, one of them being the Aku Aku mask. Now let's take a closer look at this guy. He honestly looks so phenomenal. He did such a good job shading everything. Look at those little leaves right here. But if you take a look at the back, they stopped caring, but they did turn out fantastic. They've been teasing this for about like a year, and now it's finally out, and it looks amazing, especially when you compare it to the Resource one from back in the day. Now, I do have a strong fond of this one. I do love it so much, but they did such a better job with this one by a long shot. It looks so good. And it does pop on his nose very easily. It has a simple hole right there, and then you just simply plug it in, and bang, bada boom, you got a Bandicoot with an Aku Aku mask. But yeah, it looks great. I love this mask a lot. But then after that, that is where things get a little bit tough. Now, swapping out the heads on this guy. But first, fun fact before I get into swapping the heads. You can see the mouths are different on all of these guys. They're actually based on NECA's other figures. This is based off the original Crash that came out at launch. The face that he's wearing right now, the teeth gritting, that is the jetpack Crash. And then this shouting face right here, the crazy eyes, this is the jet board Crash. All they did was just take those heads, repaint them, and just sell it as its own figure. And honestly, I'm happy they did that. However, that's also something I'm disappointed with. These heads weren't really made to really be swapped out all that easily. The ball pegs, when you first get them, are very, very tight, and it is nerve-wracking to mess with this figure, to try to pop off the head and interchange it with other ones. Me trying to get his head off unfortunately resulted in paint being chipped out. I'm not sure how well you can pick it up on camera, but right along here you can see that paint has been scuffed off. Luckily the face does cover it, but the fact that it was that tough for me to get it off was a real shame. Now, like I said, it was really, really tight, and it was too tough for me to get it off. But the more you mess with it, the more it does wear out. I think this one I didn't touch too much, but you can see how like there's a hole with a ring in there. Now, if you mess with this one I messed with a lot, like trying to pop it in and out. The ring is almost completely gone. You can see there's a difference between them. I didn't modify this personally at all. This was all just popping it in and out. But I think I found a way to try to pop them in and out without damaging it. With that said, it's still scary. So when you want to take off the head, I recommend squeezing it around the top half of his arms, because they're the most sturdy. I don't recommend squeezing these guys because I don't want you breaking his elbows. But yeah, squeeze right there and then grab him by both his ears and his nose right here. Don't grab this. This will be fragile. I had one figure fall down and break and his nose popped off, so be careful with that. So grab him by his nose, grab him by his ears, and just pray to the heavens that you don't break anything. And twist left and right and pop it off. And sometimes it'll just slide off like that, and you'll probably break some other things in the background like you just heard over there, most likely. But there have been times that you can see how this ball peg is. I would try to press it in and try to be a little bit gentle, and it feels like that it popped in, but instead the ball peg just moved down, and then when I try to articulate the head just pops off, and then I realize, oh no, it didn't really go in. So for you to really make sure that you actually got it in correctly, let's take the crazy head right here, and then actually no, let's not do the crazy head. Let's actually do the one that's actually not very destroyed all that much. Yeah, let's get this good one and try to pop it in there. So we're kind of doing this in reverse. Again, squeeze it by the shoulders and then take it down. Make sure it lines up correctly. And then just twist it left and right. Make sure you do a good job. Don't move it too much. If you physically move your hand all that much, it's going to make the ball peg in there move. Don't try to move the ball peg. Just try to slowly pop it in so you don't damage it and you actually get a tight fit. Now this one does require some muscle, so if you don't got any muscles, you're not going to have a fun time with this figure at all. But let's move the head. Let's make sure we got it in correctly, and looks like we did. Good, because when I first played with this figure, I'd move the head, and then the head would just fall off. I'm like, oh man, I didn't get it in right. But anyway, yeah, there's something about this face I don't like. I don't like the way those eyes look. Maybe it might grow on to me, but I don't like this at all. I personally prefer the smaller eyeballs when it comes to him looking forward. But I get they have to make them all the same size or whatever, but this does not look good in my opinion. I don't like this. I'm probably never going to use this face ever. So, what are my thoughts on this figure? Despite the heads being scary to swap at first, I still personally think this is the best NECA figure. This is at least my favorite because not only is it painted much better compared to the first one, you do have the extra faces, you do have the Aku mask. This is the definitive Crash figure. This is the deluxe figure. I believe it does deserve that deluxe name. Honestly, I would almost say if you haven't picked up the first one, you can almost skip it and go for this one. But I do like the way the old one looks. I like the smaller eyes, and I love how it looks like the actual in-game model. But if you don't care about that, this is the best plain Jane Crash figure. I do recommend picking this one up. However, I do wish we got more accessories. I wish we would have gotten fists for Crash to have swapped out. I wish we would have gotten Wampa fruits, crystals, crates, other stuff like that. I want more accessories with my Crash figures. I want this to be the definitive Crash action figure line, but until then, Resource still has the better variety. It has all the accessories, it has all the characters, and I love their aesthetic. They look fantastic, and I love the line all put together. But this is still by far the best Crash figure. Better paint job, better articulation. It's definitive. It really looks like Crash jumped out of the screen. It looks amazing. So if you do want to order this figure, I personally recommend either waiting for GameStop to get it and get it for $30. Big Bad Toy Store is going to get it real soon for about $40. But if they're still available through the eBay or Amazon listings, I will have listings in the description if you do want to order this guy. I don't get any commission on this. This is me just trying to help you out. I don't get paid for this. Not even affiliate links. Nothing in there. However, if you do enjoy this review, leave a like and a comment. And I haven't done any of the other Crash figure reviews. I've done a review on the first one when that came out so long ago. However, I do have all the other ones. I have the jet board, the jetpack, everything else. I have all that. So if you want to see reviews of those, let me know. And I've had those since they first came out. So I did have time to actually really think about how I feel about those figures. And after all those are done, maybe I'll throw in a Spyro review in there. Move it. Yeah. We can review Spyro if you want. Also, if you love action figures, follow my Instagram because I do take pictures of action figures in different poses, and it's a fun time. It's one of my secret passions. And that's it for my review. Thank you for watching. All my socials are down in the description, and I guess I'll see you all on the next one.